peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Viewers and the comrades, the people, the Pan-African people of Africa, and mainly the people of Kenya. Elections in Africa create difficulties. Everywhere in Africa, you find conflicts emanating from elections. Results declared, the loser does not come out to concede. Elections, if not well managed, can trigger the worst crisis for any nation in Africa. It is therefore very prudent for the people of Kenya not to buy populist ideas and forget the hinge point of electoral reforms, electoral injustices, electoral systems, mechanisms that can change Kenya and bring a credible results of an election where the losers and the winner will agree this was a fair contest. Given that circumstances, the circumstances that surround our badly managed elections, Kenya faces this challenge. A referenda of reducing MPs to zero does not solve your problem, because that problem of Kenya is a structural challenge. It's a structural challenge in the sense that the structures themselves give access to more money stolen, to more money hidden, to more money misappropriated by various institutions. Therefore, to have credible electoral reforms, credible electoral systems, credible electoral mechanisms will resolve 1/3 of the Kenya's problems, in that we shall have credible, proportionally elected people who represent all the views of the people of Kenya. That is my take, and that's the take of anybody who looks at the current situation, that any group that would come up and does not discuss the question of elections in Africa and in Kenya as a case study, and use it and look at how many dead bodies do we always collect when we mention the word elections. It is all over Africa. In Uganda, it is happening. In Zimbabwe, as we speak now, they are on the streets of Harare. It's because of elections. They want to come and overthrow and break down everything in Zimbabwe. It's elections. So elections in Africa create conflicts. But how can we stop violence before and after elections? Is through proportional representation of the model of South Africa, which has held elections, but there's peace on the streets of the cities. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, my people of Kenya. That's my message. I stand to be corrected, but I think it is only until you get a proportional representation system that will deliver every part of this country into your house of representation, into your elections, is when stability and tranquility will be permanent forever in this country. Thank you.
My name is Bishop Dr. John Warari. I come to you to give you hope. 80% of those who have the infection are recovering.
So we must not lose hope. Follow the instructions of the Ministry of Health. Simple instructions. 1, we have been told to sanitize, to clean our hands as often as possible. As you wash your hands, do it for about 20 seconds. That one will keep away and destroy the virus that could have been in your hands. It is important for us not to use our hands in greeting each other. For more information, kindly dial 719 and you will get help, or you can go to your phone and press *719# and you will get more information. Komesha Corona.
Thank you very much. All over Africa, presidents are beginning to change constitutions. The constitutions that were made to give term limits seem to have no meaning to the current situation in Africa. Whenever we reach election time and the expiry of the tenure of office, presidents in Africa try to change their constitutions. The recent case of Guinea, where President Conde has tries to change the constitution to go for another third term or fourth term, has sparked violence that has left several people killed and some arrested, imprisoned. The question therefore is, why is Africa and why are African heads of state changing constitutions? What has made it difficult for presidents to retire and go back? There are few countries in Africa that adhere to the constitution, namely Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Kenya. These countries, Botswana, Namibia, Angola, some of these countries, when it comes to adhering to the principles of constitutionalism, they have never changed their minds. Are there conditions that make them fear? Where is the fear? What makes people change constitutions? What makes a head of state to involve the entire population in changing the entire constitution? The case of Burundi, where the constitution was changed, it sparked violence and even it reached a point of a military coup. Do we need these changes in the constitution at the last minute? Do we involve our people as to whether the type of governance we are taking is the best type of governance? These questions can be answered by my viewers. Many of you who are watching me today, and many of you who will have a chance to look at the clip. The bottom line and the questions are, do we need elections in Africa? Therefore, are we ready for competitive elections? Do we give it up? Do we say, thank you, my brother, for winning, or my sister for winning elections? How do we conduct ourselves pre- and post-elections results? When the results come out, do we accept them? Do we move on? Do we wait for the 5 years? Or do we change and go violent? I think that is the question that I leave to you people in each of your countries, wherever you are.
Hamjamboni, kwa majina naitwa Priscilla Mwikali Makau. Mimi ni daktari katika hospitali yetu kuu ya Mathare inayoshughulikia mambo na changamoto za akili. Wakati kama huu unaweza kupitia mambo mengi, wafikiria sana, mafikirio yako yako mengi, yanasongamana, magombana na watu. Tuomba uweze kutumia nambari 1199 ili uweze kupatana na mhudumu wa afya kwa upande mwingine. Pamoja tukomeshe corona.
Mimi naitwa Eliud Bio. Mimi ndio mwenyekiti wa Kamukunji Jua Kali Association. Nataka kusema kwamba hii ugonjwa wa coronavirus ni ugonjwa ambao uko na unashika kila mtu ambaye anaweza kuwa in contact na mtu mwingine ambaye ako nao ama amegusa kitu ambacho kimeguswa na mtu ambaye ako nayo.
Let us wash our hands. Let us keep the social distance given, at least 1 meter away from one another. Let us avoid all gatherings, unnecessary gatherings. People believe that sanitizer is the main thing to fight the scourge. Let us just use the soap we have at home, even the bar soaps. So long as we maintain the cleanliness that is required, we are going to fight this.
Ili tubambane na hii ugonjwa ni lazima unawe. Hiyo ndio sababu kama sekta tumeweka hizi mtungi kila mahali ya kunawisa mkono. Na tena tunasema ya kwamba ukiwa unafanya kazi hapa, ama wewe ni customer, ama wewe ni mpita njia, ukikuja lazima unawe. Hiyo ndio kusaidia na ndio kukinga hii ugonjwa.
Hii mitungi ya kunawia mikono, members wetu walichukua jukumu, wanatengeneza hizi mitungi na wanauza kwa bei nafuu, kwa sababu wanapotengeneza hii mitungi sio biashara tu ama pesa tunatafuta. Tunatafuta kwamba hii mitungi iweze kufikia kila mtu, ndio watu waweze kunawa mikono na waweze kujikinga na hii ugonjwa. Si serikali ambayo inaweza kutusaidia peke yake, ni sisi wenyewe pia tusaidiane kwa kufuatilia ile mambo ambayo tunaambiwa na serikali.
For more information, please dial 719 or *719#. You'll get help immediately from the relevant authorities, particularly from the Ministry of Health.
Pamoja tukomeshe corona.
Conflicts in Africa have become the daily occurrence. Daily occurrences in many countries, in the sense that almost every African country, apart from the few, there is tension. One wonders where this tension at times comes from. Some of it comes from elections, a manufactured election, a disputed election results. Some come from territory. Some are terrorist-based, like that of Somalia and Boko Haram. Some are because of regime change, purely sponsored by external forces. But 95 to 96% of conflicts in Africa occur through the sponsorship of external darker forces that would like to benefit out of the spoils of war. George Soros stands as one person who has always been and will always be and shall be until the end a man who sponsors any type of chaos, who does not follow which type of chaos he is sponsoring, as long as it is chaos that can topple a person he hates in Africa. Many African countries are undergoing this pressure, this tension, especially those that are conducting elections and whose timetable for elections seem to be coming in the near future. As a result of that, Africa stands warned, and Africa must stand on alert about the external forces that want to dismember this continent and create heavens of war, create insecurity, create mirage peace that Africans have fought after 66 years of gaining political independence. It is therefore my submission that most African countries, if they don't look at what George Soros is doing, we might have a shocker one morning, one by one African country being pushed out and the leaders being pushed out of power. The events, therefore, in South Africa, as proved from these detailed undercover operations, they prove that George Soros indeed has a say in South African politics. And therefore, we want to urge Africans and African heads of state and their military and intelligence systems to be careful and watch on the amount of money that is being pumped into their economies, because some of the money could be George Soros money that will end up to bring public disorder in most of the African countries. Thank you very much, viewers.
My name is Sophie Mwanyumba from the Ministry of Health and working under National Public Health Labs. Today we are visiting the quarantine sites within Nairobi, and the teams are being dispatched out to go and visit the sites. We have the forms which we are going to use to capture the information of the visitors who came from in the country. And we also have the sample collection apparatus, which we have the oropharyngeal swabs and the nasal swabs. And each person is supposed to be taken the 2 samples, the nasal swab and the oropharyngeal swab. We have our PPEs to protect ourselves. We have the safety gears where we are having this, and the disinfection for disinfecting the apparatus which we are going to use. The waste, we have the biohazard bags where we are going to put all the waste which is generated within the site where we are collecting the specimen. We have the biohazard bags to safeguard the environment. And with us, we have the transport media, because we have to make sure that the samples which we are going to carry, they are if the virus is there, they are viable. So we have the transport media which we are carrying with us, and we are maintaining the cold chain, because we have the cool box which is equipped with the ice packs to maintain the cold chain of the virus of the samples as we come back. To my fellow Kenyans, I have a word for you today. Kindly stay at home. I am at work to safeguard the environment and to safeguard ourselves. The corona is real. It is real with us. So please let us stay at home as the health workers continue working and supporting the government or the guidelines which they have been put on place.
Today in Africa, we see a lot of uprisings, planning for uprisings, plotting for uprisings in several African countries. The events on the African continent, therefore, as predicted much earlier myself, in 2017, I said, before 2020, 13 African countries would have undergone either soft regime change, soft coups, or violent regime change through uprising, which now seem to be real. The signs that and the symbols that we see are the real symbols and the signs that more is to come against African governments. What do we do then? There is a new method of changing governments strategically placed in the United States of America by George Soros. George Soros funds civil societies, civil disobedience, civil violence in Africa. It is upon you, Africans and African heads of state, wherever you are, as you plan to convene next month or before the end of this month in Addis Ababa, to understand the magnitude of this regime change strategy. Many wars are taking place, internal strife, conflicts like the one in Cameroon, Amazonia, like the one in Biafra, Boko Haram, and then in Biafra, like the one in Libya. But the theme is the same. Regime change, uprising. Is it a matter of taking over our resources? You see, the war in Congo has erupted again. Unknown militias have arrived in Congo, restarted the war, and it is going on. All these culminate to one thing. Are we ready to be independent? As I said last week, this week, are people in Africa ready to accept the results of elections? Elections everywhere in Africa are bringing the chaos we see. The people of Africa seem to be divided after elections or before elections. Is Africa ready for elections? Do we need elections in Africa? If so, are we tolerant enough to accept the results? Are we ready? Which method can we use in Africa to make sure that there is hope for the countries and there is hope and the future of Africa is guaranteed? Viewers, the High Court in Malawi today or yesterday was hearing a case when the president had already been sworn in. If the president of Malawi has been sworn in, then the High Court is hearing the case. Is that not a disaster, an accident in waiting? Whether this will make us have a peaceful Africa remains to be seen. And may God help us to build a better Africa. Thank you very much.
In the case of China, small reforms have been going on all the time in the political system. We fix problems here and there. But I said, problem is the United States. Your political system was a product of pre-industrial era. And I made a forecast. I said, without significant, substantial political reform, my concern is in your next elections, you will produce a leader worse off than George W. Bush.
Yes.
So then,
Yeah.
so it was you, it was not the Russians.
Yeah. So this is the Chinese humble advice we can offer. But China is a civilizational state. I remember when Henry Kissinger wrote his famous book on China, he started with this quote. He said, my goodness, look at this China. It's different. China uses this unique language, which started 3,500 years ago. It's 1,000 years earlier than ancient Greek, 1,500 years earlier than ancient Latin. But these two European languages were dead languages. Chinese still use the same language. This line of culture and continuation of civilization, uninterrupted. So this is why we have, indeed, for instance, this whole idea of meritocracy. Why I say confident? I said with my debate with Professor Fukuyama, I said, if you look at the top leadership in China, we've just had the party's Congress, minimum requirement, 2 terms of provincial governor or similar position, which means you have to govern at least 100 million people, given the size of China, before you came to one of the top 7 positions, decision-making bodies. I said to Fukuyama, I said, with this Chinese methodology, meritocracy-based system, we can say with certainty, we can improve the system, there are problems, we can fix it. But we will not produce any leaders like George W. Bush. It's way below the Chinese bar. That's my point.
When President Uhuru Kenyatta thought of a nation, a peaceful nation, a united nation called Kenya, he scored highly to the international community and to Kenyans. When the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga thought of a nation called Kenya, he scored highly. It is that redemption strategy, the coming together of opposition and the government, the president and the former opposition leader, or the opposition leader of Kenya, that has made Kenya peaceful, united, working together to date. It is therefore very important for the people of Kenya to realize that the most important thing that every African looks at when talking about Kenya is peace. But what kills Kenya is tribal enclaves, bad elections, bad electoral mechanisms, bad political morals. People lack political morals. People lack good electoral mechanisms. People think of tribes. It is not the poor, it is not the rich, it is not the destiny, it is not the hustler nation. No. Those have been there for many times, for many years. But what has killed the country is that those one key thing, elections. If Kenya can sort out its electoral mechanisms, that a winning candidate embraces a losing candidate, and a losing candidate embraces a winning candidate. You work together as a nation, work together as people of Kenya. That's the day that Kenya will rise and become a very good country, beyond what it is today. But the moment we go back to our tribal enclaves, we poison the politics. We play Machiavellian politics of backstabbing, intrigue, manipulation, machinations that flow in the Kenyan political arena. It's the moment that we destroy the same nation that needs that unity. President Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, don't give up. Former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, don't give up on unity or purpose. Always strive to unite, leave a legacy of a united Kenya. That is the price you will give to the generations, the grandchildren, to your generations that will come. You might not be there to see the price that you have, the foundation you have laid. But once you leave that legacy of a united, peaceful Kenya, both of you and many other leaders in Kenya should not give up in search for that unity. I thank you very much. Those are my views. I believe a redemption strategy, and I repeat, a redemption strategy, the healing, reconciliation, reparation, accountability, truth-telling, those are the values of the handshake, a united Kenya with capacity to accommodate all. Thank you. Thank you, listeners.
Very good morning to you, and glad that you could find time to join us this morning. A beautiful morning here in Nairobi, wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and a very good morning to you. This is Daytime Express, and here we get to look at the news-making headlines across Kenya, going through the newspaper headlines, the 3 leading newspapers in the country, and then later on we shall be coming back with other news across the continent. But right now, this hour, we just focus on what is happening in Kenya, and a lot is happening in Kenya in terms of the politics, and all the changes that President Uhuru Kenyatta made the other day has really set tongues wagging, and it appears this is a debate that may not see an end very soon. Thank you so much. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and from the Political Command Center, I'm joined by Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much. Viewers, wherever you are in the world, thank you very much. Watching us, this is Punchline Africa Television. I am miles away from Miriam. Thank you very much for holding the fort in the headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning, viewers. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. The news, COVID-19. Miriam, give us the figures of Kenya so far. How many yesterday after testing? Where are we standing as far as the figures are concerned?
Right now, Kenya has confirmed a total of 2,340 cases. 78 people have died, and 592 others have since recovered. So that's where we stand today. And Uganda, perhaps, if I can look at the East African countries, right now the cases are at 522 there in Uganda. Recoveries is 82. Tanzania has not updated us anything lately. And South Sudan, the numbers at 1,317, and 14 people have died and 6 have recovered. Somalia, the numbers there, 2,204, 79 deaths. Recovery is 418. And let me see if I can find Rwanda. Now the confirmed cases in Rwanda is 410. 2 people have died, and recoveries there stands at 280. And in Africa, the total cases right now stands at 169,277, Doctor. And in Rwanda, there the numbers went up after President Paul Kagame tried to ease up some of these restrictions, even as Kenya. We look forward, we anticipate President Uhuru Kenyatta's announcement. I don't know if he'll talk to us tomorrow. He's not said, but during Madaraka Day, he said that he'll be talking to the nation soon, because all the curfew and restrictions tomorrow seems to be the deadline. So we're looking forward to what the president will be telling the nation.
I think, given the comparative, I have always told you on this show that I'm a student of comparative politics, which I liked so much. I want to see what else is happening in another place, another court, another law enforcement agency, another intelligence systems, international systems. I have that inquisitive mind of an inquisitive investigator. If I were President Uhuru Kenyatta, I will not try. I'll try to tell people today to wash their hands. I'll try to tell them to distance themselves. I'll try to tell them to wear masks. I'll try to tell them until he sees change of behavior. The number of people in town walking without masks, the number of people walking with masks in the chin, down in the neck. Instead, some of them are making even fun by putting it back on their back. It is happening. Until that is done, if I were head of state in this world, one thing I will not do is first to open. You open to go where?
Mm-hmm.
This is my question all the time.
Yes.
Yes, you are opening to go where? Mm-hmm. You are opening to go where? Open to go where? Mm-hmm. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Mm-hmm. If they open, you go where? The world is not yet open. Where do you go? Where do you want to go? To fly out? to fly out.
And yesterday, when Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe was giving the country the daily updates there, the Minister of Health usually gives there, he said that soon Kenyans might have to nurse coronavirus cases at home. It says here, down here, I'm reading the Daily Nation before we get to the main headline. Containment strategy fails 3 months into the battle with coronavirus and rise in daily new infections. Kenyatta, Mbagathi and KU holding facilities are filled up. Ministry of Health hints at the possibility of releasing most of their symptomatic patients for home-based care, but this would lead to an explosion in the infections. So this is another dilemma, Doctor, that the government has to now grapple with.
Let me tell you, Medium, South Korea has social structures. It tried it open. Within 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, children were collapsing in classrooms. They closed immediately. German has the same. What happened to German? You can tell me. Iran, with all the oil, they have even money, they can purchase anything in the world that they need. There was chaos. Now you tell me, you in Africa, where even officials are stealing ventilators, you want to open to go where? My question is, you are opening to go where? If you cannot wash hands here, who will allow you to a place where they are very strict, who would want a certificate, verifiable, before you go? They want a certificate. You can't land to Britain without a certificate. You can't land in America, you can't go where? Every country, if you look at the comparative situation across the globe, every country is coming back 7th, 10th, 14th, July, 20th, July. Even France, they are coming back around that time. To me, I believe the president should look at those factors and look at what is the most pressing thing. There was a committee to give food. How far has this committee gone to purchase food? Because we are looking at the people, vulnerable people. The vulnerable people in our community are the ones who want the food. There are people who can afford the food, no problem. But there are people who cannot afford the food. Haven't the chiefs identified those people so that efforts are concentrated on those people? Yes, we give food and restrict ourselves, hopefully within another 1 month. Another 1 month from now, the clouds would have shown whether rain is coming down or there will be no rain. If the clouds give us a signal, but when you see the comet still standing in the sky in the same place, there's danger, Mr. President. There's danger. These people who are saying, who are jumping even the restriction, they want to go. Yesterday I was in a place, I went to one of the institutions in town to check on some 2-3 paperwork in the bank. And one of the managers told me, I hope they're opening, I want to go home, I miss home. I said, what about Kenya is not your home? You see, Nairobi is not your home.
They want to go back to the countryside.
So if you open this space, people are going to drive their big Range Rovers, carrying disease with big Range Rover,
back to the villages.
V8, Mercedes-Benz, showing the village. The villagers come and touch it, they are finished. By the time they come back, they have infected over 20,000 each. You can imagine that scenario. So for me, I will stick where I am. I will sit where I am. Let them open. I will not be very quick to go to those gyms. I will not go to a gym. So far now, I think I have equipped myself with all gym equipment here. The last one has just been brought just a few minutes ago. I'm going to put it on at the veranda and do these exercises that I need every day. The only thing that I can miss is sauna and a jacuzzi and a steam. But I can steam myself in my shower room. Close the windows and steam. What is it that you are running in the hotel for?
Doctor, you're too luxurious. You're too luxurious. you want to create a sauna situation at your home.
Not me.
But yes.
Excuse me,
yes.
Miriam.
Yes.
I'm explaining a point.
Yes.
There are people here saying open our gyms. I'm not saying it's me.
It's okay.
But there are people here writing on the social media that why is the president not opening the gym? Can't you do your gym at home? Can't you shower at home? If you miss sauna, can't you go to a jacuzzi? Not jacuzzi, a sauna. You can do your local sauna. This television is supposed to educate people on what they should do. We should not just condemn them, but tell them, whether you have a sauna, if it has a pipe, put in hot water, it comes down, you put yourself, and you can close the door, you will have a sauna, a steam, and your brains will put Vicks, Vapor, Vicks. You don't just put Vicks. If the worst comes to the worst, put Vicks in a basin. Cover yourself with a cloth. Put your head inside. It will go here, and you will be relaxed man for the whole 24 hours.
That sounds like a corona solution there, doctor. Can take care of, because
thank you very much.
A lot of the local, yes, my solutions.
Our show here is supposed to educate people. We are not doing this for business. Citizen is doing it for business. KTN is doing it for business. We are not. We're community television on Facebook and in Twitter, YouTube. We must educate the community. These are some of the things. Don't look for Uhuru Kenyatta. Look for Vicks in the shop and the water in the well. Boil it. Get your bed sheet. Cover your head inside for 45 minutes. Uone hii mambo ya corona itakuja wapi? Unless you have some other disease, that is another problem.
Like asthma.
But
Please
if
don't
you
try
are
that.
all right,
asthma, yes.
If you are all right, that is a therapy.
It
enough.
Is. Sounds very
and
therapeutic.
We want to encourage people to do this, other than people telling us on social media, open the gym. Were you born with the gym? When I was born, there was no gym. I walked for 10 miles to go to a primary school. 5 going in the morning, 5 coming back. There was no gym. Now some people are telling people, open the gym, open. President should open. Let the president open, but let the president also get medicine. Because there is no vaccination. The vaccine is not yet out. Every country, every airline, I can read to you about 120 countries whose airlines will start operating in July after assessing finally everything. You know, the biggest worry is the airline, because it's the same air being circulated inside. So some of these airlines must be fitted with extra that pours out and brings in. Otherwise, people, by the time you reach London or New York, all of you will not be talking to the captain. We must do a lot of things, prepare to open. Let's not open haphazardly. And I'm repeating this. Those who want to hear can hear. If people are tired of curfew, let them give them curfew can begin at 10 o'clock. Up to 6, no problem. Yes, after 10 o'clock you are found on the street, you must explain. Because what is killing people at the moment is first they are sitting in the house with their wives so early, or with their husbands so early. Some of them are not used like a Friday. Kenyans are not used at home. The nightclubs are 122% full up. They want to tell stories on Saturday morning. But Jermaine, this is not the time to tell stories. They open those nightclubs, we shall all die. There's only one route: save or perish. 2 words: save or perish. I am not a medical doctor, but I'm a comparative scientist who studied comparative politics, where I compare the situation in Germany and the situation in Kenya, which does not have even enough ventilators for all Matsangas. We don't have the kits for testing. We don't have. We would have tested everybody, but no, we don't have. Across the bridge in Uganda, there is even now strict routes that certain taxis, matatu, can pass. Here, we have left every Tom and Dick Harry to bring even a ramshackled matatu back. Those are the measures that the government should today and tomorrow try to announce that too much of the traffic, too much of, you look at the city now. If you look at the city, there is no social distancing.
No, not at all. And everybody's back. Yes, the traffic jams.
I fear even going to the city. I don't want to go there.
Fully
Let
packed.
me be whatever I am.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Doctor, yesterday, when the CS Cargo was talking, he said that isolation facilities are full, and since 80% of the patients in various hospitals are symptomatic, they may be managed from home. But now the problem with that is that in Nairobi, for instance, informal settlements are leading in the number of infections, with Kibra recording over 200 cases, followed by Mathare and Kawangware. And if the government implements home-based care protocols, how are people in poor neighborhoods going to adapt given their living conditions? So yes, they're thinking of, because 80% of the cases are not serious at all. They just been tested, they have corona, but they're okay. But they're receiving treatment, they're symptomatic. So they're saying they could be released because the facilities, they are overwhelmed right now. Kenyatta Hospital, the isolation center there is full to capacity. Mbagathi is full to capacity. Kenyatta University Hospital there is nearly full. So they're saying the 80%, which forms the bulk of the majority in these centers, could be released so that they can continue with their treatment at home. But when you see that a majority of the cases now being reported in Nairobi comes from Kibra, comes from Mathare, these slum areas, social distancing is something that you can't even think about.
Poor planning. Poor planning and a poor strategy.
So what would be the alternative, Doctor, if you were to advise the government of Kenya?
It's poor planning. Copy, Miriam, copy what other countries are doing. Emulate them. Emulate the example. Because why are the hospitals full? It's because there is something wrong in the policy. Simple. Why don't we know which categories The other day here, I became a scientist to say, study the DNA of this virus.
They did.
Yes, or if you have studied, then why?
They found that Kenya you have 9 strains.
Why should the hospital be full? Why don't we create critical, not critical, and a critical? No, not critical, medium, and a critical. See, policy management. I studied policy. Yes. Project management. Simple is here. Don't tell me, if President Uhuru Kenyatta gave me that ministry, you will see all the patients. Some are in, I have taken them to that stadium of Macau Mutua. It is empty. You get my point? It's empty. You can't concentrate on Nairobi only. Do project management. So distribute the force that is leaning on you. Remain with a lighter force to plan for a critical position. Hello? Am I teaching here today? Remain with something which is really pressing. Also leave that in Nairobi Hospital as an emergency center for all emergencies. In case there is a big fire in Nairobi, you must leave area, some
access area.
Yes. So spread these patients. Work with other nearby counties. Machakos, you see, Dr. Alfred Mutua is well organized.
That's an excellent point, Doctor. I don't know why they've not thought about it, but I'm sure, I hope somebody from there is watching so that they can perhaps borrow some of this.
Everybody is chasing money. Miriam, everybody from Okuro, Court, from who? They are all chasing money. They are all chasing money. Kila mtu anachase money. You find a Kenyan busy with a suit in the ministry. You think he has come, he's doing what? He's chasing a file which is there. He wants money. Nobody is thinking for this country. People are not thinking. Why is it that this country of a man called Museveni is still has not received any death related with COVID-19? Because they have spread those people. They have spread. Some of the patients are being treated very far. And when they see you, you are okay, they test you second time, and project management. Mutahi Kagwe, project management. If you don't know, I'm your friend. I can tell you tactics of project management. You are managing a very dangerous project. You need to have what we call exit routes. Where the exit routes here? I'm teaching for free. I'm teaching. If you want to hang. But I'm telling you, I'm teaching because of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm adding my voice because people are rushing of opening. They are saying we don't know when they are going to open. All television stations, we don't know when they are going to open. What idea are you giving to the government? I saw another group yesterday of the gang. They call themselves Gang of Four. There's a woman there called Yvonne Ikware. All the time against the government. Oh, the police, all this. What rubbish! What rubbish! What rubbish! Kwenda. Why do you want the president to open when you can't suggest to the president?
Alternatives, ideas.
Why don't you ask? Yesterday they were condemning the government. Police brutality, went on reading names. But he didn't say why some of them are being killed. These are NGO journalists everywhere. That one, Ageyo, Kaikai, those are NGO journalists who should never even be near any television station. Muache, that you open and you go where? The world is closed. You want it to open and go where? Go and die? Me, even if they open, I'll stay where I am. I'll stay doing my things. I'll stay washing my hands. Let God come and kill me where I'm washing my hands. And that's what I'm talking. I talk frankly. If you want to listen to some truth, come here. And listen, I don't care. I mentioned the names. If they feel they're annoyed with me, they know what they did to me. Time ya kulipisha that they are journalists. Oh, morning, oh, police brutality, oh, killing this. Why do you always carry such nonsense to SK Macharia's television? If you hate Uhuru, say it. Be honest and say you hate him. You have to refuse to give me a job as a spokeswoman. Hakuna kukuja kuzungumza, kuinsult the president, showing that this world we are going into chaos. And I am not going to keep quiet. Alone or what, I will be saying the same. Me, I'm not happy with the way our journalists condemn the government without suggesting. For example, now, I have condemned Mr. Mutai Kagwe, but I have suggested how he can manage the project. He's not managing the project. He's not removing the burden at the center heart. Remove this burden from Kenyatta and the other hospitals. Distribute the problem. Carry some patients out of these facilities. Release some. Have a receiving center somewhere with facilities for them to eat. Pay. There's money for COVID. Pay. For some people, lower grade, wakaya huko kwanza. Doctors pass there to see who goes home so that you relieve space in the main intensive care unit. But now when you come to the national television to tell people that the whole place is full up, so let's go and die then.
Doctor, very important points there you brought up, and I'm hoping somebody from
and help me, I'm a Ugandan, call me the names.
Somebody could go suggest.
Some people who are even Congolese, they hold the Congolese nationality. They are here, and they keep on calling me a Ugandan. Wacha nimalize hii kwanza. Me, I've never bought any ID in Kenya that I want to pretend to be, or even I could have. In fact, I could have got it in 1986. When I came here, passed through here as a refugee. I could have bought it because my name is also found in Rwakaka, Marakisi, Bungoma. But I don't have. So watu wengine wa Congolese, their mothers came with them here. Then they called themselves Kenyans. Some are Koromojongs. Mwache. Tutatoboa hii maneno. You just go on insulting Matanga. Tawacha wounded. I will leave some people politically naked. You touch Matanga, you get prepared. I'm not an ignorant man like Chief Justice Maraga, who doesn't know what governance is. He doesn't know what a government is. Surely, come for lessons. Miriam, at times, at times some things annoy me.
But you're saying something very important, Doctor, there. that we need to insist to the Ministry of Health.
People don't want to do a project management. That thing of the COVID-19 is a project management. Anybody who has gone to school and studied a master's degree in project management, like a David Makanga, I will manage that project. Without even asking the president what to do. And I will even save money. This thing needs only to save money. For example, pay for more facilities. Create more facilities.
In the nearby counties.
Yes. And then pay for them. Then the doctors visit them twice in a day. And they say, okay, this one, you go home. 10 of you go home and go and do home care. Get their telephones, monitor their telephone, work with the ICT. This man of Google is always on these press conferences all the time. They are standing. I don't know what he does. You know what, Jamen, mimi ni karibu. You know, President, please, you have started this thing of to sweep this place, sweep some people. He should have connected a network that can trace. That once you have put people in Machakos, and you see him leaving Machakos, unasukuma police unit, unasema wewe unaenda wapi? Miriam, unaona hiyo? That's project management, madam. Now here we are saying the place is full up.
Yes, because this other suggestion that CS Mutahi Kagwe was cited yesterday, that will get us into a lot of troubles here, because you cannot tell somebody from Mathare and Kibra to go home and self-isolate. It's not possible. So I think...
home?
Yeah.
A home where? In Mathare? Muta aende Mathare home with people sleeping on top of each other. People sleep on top of each other. You see, like a gunia ya mahindi. Pack a top. In fact, some people in this country share a bed, sleep for 2 hours, I'm coming back. So where? Create a reception, a receiving, a post healing center, where some of the people who are behaving well are sent to that center. Okay? Once they are sent to that center, doctors go and look at them. Now start discharging them one by one. Whoever falls sick from that center, again, can be brought back. There is space. But if you pile all of them in Bagafi, unless you are building a storage Bagafi, there is no logic. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
They don't want advice. They don't want even to call in people for even a chat. Power changes people. I'm telling you. Power changes people. I'm telling you now, Miriam.
So according to the World Health Organization protocols, the ability of individuals and families to isolate themselves at home will depend on the type of house or shelter they have. In accordance with World Health Organization guidelines, quarantined or self-isolated persons should have safe and dignified access to adequately ventilated single rooms with a dedicated toilet, hand hygiene and washing facilities. In other words, they should not be sharing some of these facilities with anybody else, even in the house. So we have that is impossible in a lot of households here in Kenya. So you cannot tell somebody to go home and self-isolate. So the nearby counties, we saw the preparations that, especially a county like Machakos County, even Kiambu County, they were prepared to receive more patients. But we have not had any more cases in Machakos, as now it is here in Nairobi and also in Mombasa. So I think the county government and the government of Kenya should collaborate with the nearby counties, Machakos County, Kiambu County, Kajiado County, and use those facilities facilities that were already they're waiting for the patients, which they do not have in a lot of patients there. So I think, Doctor, the point you've raised there will solve us a lot of this headache that CS Mutagwa is going through. So
Thank you.
I hope they can. Someone is listening.
I advise Elida, my fellow comrade, we are age mates, Mutahi Kagwe, at times seek time to talk to friends. Yeah, seek, they can give you free advice. Project management. Well, Kenya, Jamaica. This is project management. You have the money. You can now know how much money you can allocate to Kajiado Hospital. Call Governor Ololenko. Tell Governor Ololenko, how many ambulances can I give you? 3 or 4 on standby. Now I want some of the patients to be treated in your ward. Because some wards have been prepared, but don't have patients. Yeah, they don't. Why don't you do that internally as a ministry? Ololenko needs those people to be paid overtime and the food paid, because that is not his budget in Kajiado.
That is for the national government, yes.
The national government will pay and they give him money and say, now I brought you 100 patients. I'm still testing more. Keep this is the amount for 1 month. Let them eat food, let them drink Coca-Cola, juice, fruits.
Let them just eat the basic, carrots, but get treated.
Kula nyama ya Masai, kula kila kitu. Jamani.
Doctors, it is not a retreat. Yes, but you know what? That could go a long way in solving this problem. Sending somebody back to Kibra, back to Mathare, and tell them to go isolate, that's a joke. That's when we are creating more problem, and we will never see the end of COVID-19 in this country. So CS Mutahi Kagwe, that idea there by Dr. Matsanga should be implemented as in ASAP very quickly. Collaborate with the rest of the counties so that we don't have anybody sent home, especially in places where they cannot self-isolate or self-quarantine. And so on the front pages there of the Daily Nation, Doctor, we see how Ruto office lost its glow. Power shift when President Uhuru Kenyatta named his first cabinet. He created for Dr. William Ruto an office known as Executive Office of the Deputy President. But several changes later, the glamour that came with the substantive office seems to all gone. And I know this is a topic we shall be looking at around 11, but still, it is on the front pages. How Ruto office lost its glow. The new changes.
No, we can. You know, Miriam.
Yes.
We don't need to wait.
We can talk about it now. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those who want to join us, those who are coming in next can find us. We finish quickly, and then also it's a Friday. We don't need to stretch ourselves up to 1.
Absolutely, I agree.
We can crush this. Can we crush it and go?
Let's crush it. Yes. I agree with you, Doctor. Let's go. So
I can see my friend, my good girlfriend, friend of mine, not girlfriend, but Janet Kwamboka, my friend. She says our journalists cannot sugarcoat the government when it is doing wrong. You are right, Kwamboka. But Kwamboka, let the journalists criticize the government and put alternatives. Let the journalists tell people that when it is 7 o'clock curfew, unamangamanga inje, unafanya nini? What are you doing at 7? Me, exactly 10 minutes to 7, naanza kujenga kitanda kwa ulala. My news, I will watch from my bed. Niko na screen kubwa, very big screen of which I can see even in New York. Inaangalia huko New York. Don't forget I am a brother of those guys from Lake Victoria. You know? This is a Friday, we must relax a bit. Mi saa hizo naangalia nini yangu ndani kwa kitanda. If sleep comes, now wewe saa hiyo moja una manga unatafuta nini? Ndio polisi akupate. What are you looking for? Police catches you at 7. What are you looking at 7 when the government has said don't go out at 7? You are not sick. You are not looking for an ambulance. There are no people calling for ambulance these days. You know that. Because there are no accidents of drunk people who drink and drive. Do you hear ambulance at night? No. So when a journalist is criticizing the government, let the journalist put alternatives.
Solutions.
Solution. Also condemn the people that come face to face. At night, a policeman will think you are a thief. Atakuchapa risasi. Hey, what about if they were gangsters? They killed the police. How many policemen are killed here while on their own duty? How many? This is not like the New York police. Kenya police is not like a New York. The man who steps on somebody's neck. These are night incidents happening at night. Unamanga usiku, unaenda wapi? You have your wife, your children in the house. Are you going to steal? Are you going to break a bank? Where are you going at night? Ndio ukutane na polisi. Wacha polisi ikuje kwa mlango kwangu. Niwaulize, mnakuja saa hii. Wacha nipigie OCS. Aniambie mnatafuta nini hapa. They will run away. But if they have found you on the road, Baba, suffer it. Because at that time, anybody with a gun, I have started the gun culture. When you have a gun, it is the most threatening thing. That's why guns are not given to people with mental disabilities or inadequacies in brains. They first have to measure your brain properly in Madare or Butabika or in London. In fact, it is easy. It is easy to get. It's easier to rob a bank in London than to have a driving license and a gun. You can rob a bank and go away, but you can't have a driving license because they know they are giving you a permission to kill people with a car. No Muzungu will give you a driving license. That's why you see everywhere in America, when they stop this black guy, the first thing is your license. Because it's your lifeline. So let's learn also to appreciate that we teach, we talk, but let's also give government a credit. If people want to stay out longer because there are bed bugs in their beds, that's okay. The president can extend up to about maybe 9 o'clock so that you find some of the bed bugs are sleeping. Yeah, the bed bug could easily be, your wife can be a bed bug. Anakuuma kila siku. Your husband could be a bed bug. Anakuuma. Watoto wanaweza kuwa bed bugs. Wanakuuma. So some people want to stay out. Paka saa 3. Mi zambonya, mi medala. David, I'm gone. Naanza kuandika vitu yangu. There's even more time to write books. Finish up the books. I'm giving these guys who are saying, open the gym. Open the gym, you go there for gossip. Many have become gossipers. Whoa, 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 showing off with cheap perfumes of 1,000 shillings. Whoa, whoa. Ah. Today is Friday, Medium. Let's laugh a bit. That mimi nasema ya wazi. Mr. President, hiyo majimu wachana naye. Because you don't know who has come, who has coughed. While you are doing this machine, so you continue. I come, I also. So people will fall sick. The only thing that I miss is swimming. Because I told you, I swim 50 laps a day. Watu wafikiri Matanga is not fit. Jaribu. Jaribu mimi. Naweza kukimbia paka na nakuacha na mailo 10. I swim that's the only thing I'm missing. But the rest, I'm doing them in the house. Tomorrow, the kitchen comes back live. I cook. 2 hours you are cooking. That's nice. Invent some hobbies. Don't wait for Mutahe Kagwe. He might run out of ideas now. Because the patients are becoming too many.
He's having extra headache, yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Let's move to this other contentious.
And before we get to the contentious, I see something there very important on up there, the Daily Nation, where KCB restructures 120 billion Kenya shillings loans over COVID-19 pandemic. Lenders and the central bank are implementing a plan to reduce or defer interest and principal repayments for customers whose income has been impacted. So that is very good. Right now, they're restructuring. So for the Kenyans who will not be able to continue servicing the loans at these very difficult times, we see there our financial institutions are making a plan to ensure that they don't. The pressure is reduced on the Kenyans.
Some countries.
It's good.
Some countries.
Yes.
Some countries are writing off.
Okay. The same way we want China to write off our debts.
I tell you, yes. Wallahi, Mr. President, this is your last legacy. Write off some of these loans. We start afresh. Yeah. For every revolution that comes, there are people's gains. Those who got money from the bank to build the houses, they can gain. Yes, it's a people's revolution. If you have survived the corona, lakini uko na deni na bank, write it off. Leave a legacy. Utaona kura watu watasema ataongeza miaka ingine 5. Mr. President, let the banks write off some small loans. People are being punished here. I bet you, Mr. President, I tell you, Your Excellency, and other people are punished over small money. Wanabeba vitu ya every time with the children, write off these loans. Some loans need to be written off because we shall take time. If China is going to write off our loans, why can't we write off the loans of the individuals?
All right, very well there. That is something that I'm sure President Uhuru Kenyatta, yes, we'll look at. And yes, so we go back to the contentious issue, Doctor, there, as you mentioned it. So how Ruto office lost its glow. So has the Deputy William Ruto's office lost the glow, as the Daily Nation puts it here?
Miriam, there's something to lose. What? What has he lost?
The shine, the shine.
The glow. To have a building which you cannot manage. where a chaser comes to do meetings and none of you can tell who gave who permission to sit in a meeting to plot to assassinate people? Is that, you want me to speak frankly? Sindio unaleta hiyo shida sasa. Mimi nazungumza wazi.
It's the headline. Go ahead.
What the president has done is very good. One, there is no co-presidency in Kenya. I wrote last week, and thank you very much for those who have read my legacy trend. Miriam, you read it. I wrote very clearly, there is no co-president. We have behaved as if the deputy is co-president. No, the deputy is part of the president. I want to go back to teach the word government. Let's combine the first, even the one at 11.
Yes. We are having a mega show, Doctor. Continue. Don't worry. Yes. We have time. Yes.
Those who want to join us can now join.
Yes.
What is a government? There are some quack lawyers like Harvey Nelson and others, quacks, that they studied law. A government is headed by a head of state. There are three arms of government, headed by one arm of government. Who is the head of the government? Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And I want to school Mr. Maraga. I want to teach Chief Justice that when he retires, let him come for free lessons from Dr. Matanga on governance, government, governance, and institutions. The president can propose to change the way some institutions work. Is not interfering with the way you make judgment in the court. But he is streamlining how you are going to be able to receive, for example, your money. Chief Justice Maraga has no money of himself, of his own. He receives money from government. So why does he receive money from the government? Yet he claims that you don't touch my institution. The president was streamlining the government institution. If judges were walking upside down, he wanted them to walk upright. And this is how to be done. It's a proposal. A government is headed by a head of state. A head of state has executive powers to propose. He can invoke to change. And then if the issue is contentious and changed by referenda, it goes to referenda. If it can be changed by parliament, it goes to parliament. I am not understanding where people went to law, to study law, that even Mr. Nelson Harvey can write 4 pages of useless material. The whole Chief Justice writes useless material about the judiciary. Nobody is touching how you determine your cases. You can determine them wrongly or rightly. There is a process. But your institution, you are under Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I don't think when the Chief Justice goes out, he says, I am His Excellency the President, the Chief Justice of Kenya, running the government of Kenya. It is Uhuru who runs the government. Therefore, the President looks at the government. How does the government operate? How can we change for quick service delivery for the citizens? If there are backlogs in case management, maybe the courts need quicker money. How can the courts receive that money? For example, the courts in Kenya receive money from fines, bail. Then they bank the money in the central bank of the government. You can make a proposal that the court remains with that money. When a judge needs to go to Mandela, you hire him a helicopter. Without going through the bureaucracy of the government. The president can say, let the parliament pass a law that all the money collected in fines, for example, you are fined 20 million for having robbed somebody. That money goes back to the court. Let it not be sent to the main pool so that the courts can build their institution. Medium. That's the way I know government. But in Kenya, everybody hates the government. Everybody hates Uhuru Kenyatta. Chief Justice Maraga has never forgiven Uhuru Kenyatta. That's why every time when President Uhuru Kenyatta does something very good, he's up writing 2 pages of shit. Nonsense. Complete nonsense. There's no judge who can give you a judgment that the president has violated the law. The president was writing to the Attorney General to streamline, to see what can be done to make sure that these things work harmonious. It's an executive order. Let's look at it. Because some people think we talk, we have no material. Some people think we also didn't go to school. Let's look at it. I want to look at the situation with article backed by articles.
All right, as a doctor there looks for that article, please.
No, it is here. Article 131. The president is a head of state and the government, commander-in-chief, and exercises executive authority with the assistance of deputy president and the cabinet secretaries. So the president has sole authority to reorganize government and reassign duties accordingly. Maraga falls under reorganization, not assigning, reorganization. Article 131 here. Look at this. Unfortunately, some lawyers are blind to this article. Then we go further. Let's take you to Article 129 of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Executive authority derives from the people and must be exercised in accordance with the Constitution and in a manner compatible with principle of service for the well-being and benefit to the people of Kenya. Here, umeona? This is the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. I've quoted, I sat down and wrote this. Let's go again Chief Justice does not know what a government is, then he is playing street activism, not secular activism. You see, you are two types of street. Wamutata is a street activist, not a secular activist. Wamutata is a street fighter, not a scholar activist who uses brain. He uses tactics. He looks for loopholes. He knows Kenya's employees are going to be removed from their job. He tells them, I'll stand for you. That's not secularly. That's activism of the street. So let's go back to another article. Article 147 lists the functions of the deputy president. Wacha tugonge hapa ndio mtu ajue. Sahi 147 tells you what the deputy president is supposed to do. According to 147.1, the DP is the principal assistant to the president and shall deputize, and I repeat, shall deputize for the president in execution of the president's functions. Kiingereza mzuri, lakini watu wasomi, they read Matanga, Ugandan. Please, read the material I write here at 4 a.m. when you are sleeping. So, when you deputize for the president in execution of the president's functions, you don't need to have a building of your own. You must be under the president. In fact, if I were His Excellency Deputy President, I would be very happy, because everything that I want will be, inataka kwenda Moroto, inataka kwenda Nyeri, magari ziko tayari. Nataka kwenda hapa, mzee ananituma, iko hapa. Let the president give you functions, but you don't create your own functions.
You don't create your own functions.
Yes, it's because they were wearing the same ties every day. They confused each other. They didn't know who is the boss. Now the president realized later on, he is now the boss. President Uhuru Kenyatta is the head of state who gives you functions. You don't create functions.
And there's a tweet here I read in the morning which I thought was very interesting by Donald B. Kipkorir, and he said, in presidentialist systems like the US, which Kenya is one, the only role of vice president is to attend funerals on behalf of the president, and he is never at any time to say he aspires to be president until his political party begins party primaries to choose a candidate.
Exactly. To attend the funerals.
That is his. He's saying the way you see, say, the vice president of the U.S., you never see him so much.
Donald doesn't like the deputy president.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I don't hate the deputy president to that level, and I don't hate him at all. I want to tell the truth. The constitution is here. The functions, you are given the functions by the president. I don't hate. That is to the extreme. The functions of the deputy president are given by the president. He says, today I'm not going to New York. I want you to fly, and I'm going to represent Kenya in New York. Today I'm not going to the African Union. You fly and go to the African Union to represent Kenya. That's it.
All right.
That's it. Today, I'm not going to attend the function, the wedding of my friends. But William, if you are free today and you are well, go and attend on my behalf. But you can't have an institution. I just want to watch how that signpost, and I'm told it's coming down maybe tomorrow over the weekend.
Which one at the annex?
Yes.
Whoa. Okay. So they're moving the office literally, or?
Yeah, it is moved. And it looks like His Excellency the Deputy himself worked out this miracle for it, because he had a button in his office. There were some people who didn't even know whether the boardroom was empty or not. They cause you problems on a daily basis, Jermaine. So the president has done a very good thing to retain this presidency, to split it and become the president. If I were the deputy president, I would clap and say hallelujah. Yes. In other countries, the president and the deputy work in the same compound. I'm telling you, I know of a country where the deputy and the president work in the same compound in Africa. So they use the same staff. The staff of the president are the same that also work for the deputy. Cut down costs. One of the mistakes that maybe the deputy might have made was to recruit people that the president had sacked from State House and gave them jobs in his office. So the hammer followed. Those guys were even writing the Twitter handle for the president. Please, hiyo kitu wacha. Hiyo kitu wacha. Miriam cannot go to her sister's friend, husband. If they have divorced, then he goes to marry the sister's husband. And you expect that the house of Miriam's father will be okay. It will be on fire.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, that's the mistake the deputy president made. He allowed Itumbi and a group to gather in that house when they had been chased up there for bad manners. And then they started forging documents. Assassination attempt, then came the HSS scandal, where a boardroom was left for free for fall. I wish I also had time I would have gone there to meet. So all this culminate into misuse of your powers and your services against the state. This property is the state property. You can't leave a boardroom for gun trotters to meet, and then one life of a man called Kene passed away in unclear circumstances.
All right, interesting there. And here on this,
guy,
yes.
Before you go, William, that guy Ekesa said he usually uses the bedroom. So you are telling national television,
and
government, please,
yes,
for meetings for government, not private enterprise. More so of guns. Hey.
And yesterday, Doctor, during the morning show, you were not here. In one of the papers there, Echesa was complaining that Deputy President William Ruto was not doing anything to help the people who have suffered because of being with him, especially said the lawyers who have been removed or who have been purged, and they were supporting Deputy President. He was accusing Deputy President for neglecting them, including him. So, Echesa, is that self-preservation, or does he have a point there?
Who is Echesa?
The former CS.
Which CS?
The former CS for sports, is it?
The man who can't write English.
Yeah,
oh.
but he served us. And that was the biggest, I think, oversight.
You know what? Mm-hmm. If I were Echesa, people don't know. You keep quiet. Medium, this thing is gone. Keep quiet. Mm-hmm. Keep quiet. Itapita. But don't go out again, start showing people you are still looking for your 2 guns and your car. 2 guns. And the court issues an order for your guns to be returned. To kill who? How do you give a man guns back? Some of these courts are very bad. So you want the president not to clean the court? Some of the courts are very bad. How does a judge rule that this case is not going to be finished today, but we return you the exhibit? In Britain, when they arrest you with 10 shillings, no, with 200,000 pounds, it will be kept as it was until, if you are sentenced, until you finish your sentence. They don't collect the money and take it to the bank to make interest. Apana. They keep it in a locker in the same cloth as you were arrested. So when you are getting out of prison, wanakupatia, you will be shocked. This is 20 years, it's the same cloth. Yes. Here, the judges whom Maraga is defending are saying, guess what? Return the 2 guns. Why should a human being you have 2 guns? It means they are illegal. One is being used to kill people and clean it, and the other one is legal. So why should 2 guns be returned? To massacre more people? There you are.
All right, there, very well. And on this front pages of the Standard newspaper, retreat or surrender for William Ruto, and it continues to say changing fortunes. The DP's troops are on the back foot following heavy political shelling from President Uhuru and his allies, and Ruto's response or lack of it has raised eyebrows. His troops say it is just a change of attack. So has the deputy president there retreated or surrendered? That is the question the Standard is asking this morning on the headlines there.
He has done both.
He has retreated and surrendered, or he's being strategic and plotting?
He has retreated and surrendered. I tell you, you will not see him going to any church to defend anybody. He also learns, he has learned something. He has learned that people were gongering his money. Mm-hmm. Now he has learned that he will use his money very carefully.
Because he might need it later.
Yeah, he might need it for his children. Mm-hmm. Because money comes and goes. It can disappear. It can disappear now completely. And even your property is sold and you remain with nothing. So it is better to spare that money. You are a candidate of a party. There's nobody else who has come in the party challenging you. Remain and build the party with the president up to the last minute. And and then they call elections, you say, Jamen, I'm still Jubilee man. Let's watch it to Pishana and Howard. You will see how many people, silent people, will support you.
So Bahati,
But yes.
Bahati MP Ngunjiri is quoted as saying, "Our support for the DP is intact. We have taken a retreat to support President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy." So they're saying, Ngunjiri is saying, we still support the deputy president, but now in the meantime, we want to support President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. Isn't that what the president has been asking since nearly 2 years ago? Stop with the politicking. Can you help us deliver to Kenyans what we had promised them during the campaigns? And now the turnaround here is saying you're supporting the DP, but right now we have retreated to support President Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. Is that double speak there?
Ngunjiri.
Yes, Bahati MP.
Kimani Ngunjiri has never gone to school. So you just give him, don't waste a lot of your saliva on him.
All right, and Chesa there is quoted. Yes.
He doesn't know what he's saying. You say you can't retreat to support the president agenda. Support it. You shouldn't use those words. Just support. We have one candidate. When the whistle is done, that's it.
All right, and up there, the politics of the Western Kenya there has refused to go away, and they're asking, will they sink the big two Western supremacy battle with Raila Odinga's shadow looming large? CS Formalo and Governor Oparanya seek to stamp their authority as new Luhya spokesmen in a titanic battle to dethrone political heavyweights Mudavadi and Wetangula. The big fight has begun, but who will be the victor? There seems to be realignments there in Western region.
Yeah, they will fall. Wetangula's, if you look at the letter, if you look at the letter that what is it? Mrs. Nderetu has written, it means Wetangula will not meet the conditions on PP7. As said, Simiyu will meet the conditions. Wetangula has collapsed because the condition they gave Wetangula, he can't meet them. He got 9 members to sit to throw out the legitimate man himself, the Secretary General. So, reading both letters, you saw them. Wetangula has more things to fulfill, while Simiyu has got one thing to sign. Every member who was present, who is a member of the NEC, and that's the end of the story. So Wetangula has no party in weeks to come. He will be homeless. He will be an orphan. No party. Mudavadi is always talking national interest, party of national interest. What national interest, Mr. Mudavadi? When you don't have even the party certificate. At Ototi and Malala will move to take my friend Musalia Mudavadi's party very soon. And Mudavadi will remain a perennial mourner. Why?
And Mr. Atuoli seems to be wielding a lot of powers lately, especially in the western side there. And Scramble for Luhya vote blog begins. That is on the Star newspaper frontline, and it says Atuoli rallying voters behind the handshake and referendum, possibly behind Raila. But mostly we saw Atuoli become very active, especially during the handshake, supporting the handshake and the referendum. And maybe that is what brought him closer to the sides of Raila Odinga and the president. I'm not sure.
Atuoli is a power broker.
He is a power broker, absolutely.
Powerful guy. You underrate Mr. Atwoli at your own risk. And that's it. These guys, their soup is cooked. The goose.
The goose.
Yeah. Atwoli, you can't, you see, Atwoli is like a Chotara. You remember the MP Chotara, the brown man?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the former MP in Ukambani called Muri Mutitya.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Makatu. Makato.
Yes.
Those are people you cannot underrate. They are genius. And Atwoli is very genius. You have seen his statements. They always border on something very intelligent. So, for you to go back in Luyaland and undermine him, is a man, a Secretary General, who can hire 10 helicopters for all editors to arrive in Bungoma. And they finish you in hours. When you, Moses, you are at the door somewhere begging for 20 million to organize a meeting. Next.
All right, so Doctor, our topic for the morning that we've not really touched is IEBC must go. I don't know what you have to say on this, because yesterday in the afternoon show, yeah, it was fire.
I just want to tell the general public, I've been threatened by Mr. Ekuro Okot. He rang me. I refused to pick his call. And he wrote a statement which I've got. It means he has been hurt. It means he has heard my message. So now, let him bring his fake signatures. Let them come. I have already told the public and the government. I'm not the government. It is up to the government, the DCI, the security agencies to find out whether those signatures that is planning to revamp, to use for revamping his bid for a constitutional bill are signatures that were got in this time. And where did he get them? You can't play with an old horse like me. When you were born, when I was already away, I was already a civil servant when Ekuro Okot started working or going to school. Where was he in 1978 when I was a soldier? When I was working as a PA of the president? Where was he? So you don't play with a man of that nature. You can call him names, but you don't play too much. He called me, I refused to take his call. I've recorded everything. Then he left a message, how stupid he is, insulting me. It means it has hurt him so much. But today I am not releasing that material phase 2. Now I know, let the night of long knives continue. Over the weekend, I'll drop the bombshell, or Monday morning. Because the material I have, once I release it, Mr. Ekuro Okot might never talk about Kenya politics again. Please. 2, the IEBC will that guy, that commissioner, he better get out. Let them just resign and leave the thing to the government to do what they want to do. Nobody is going to accept them. It should go. Miriam, the IEBC is always the centerpiece of the troubles of Kenya. From 1992, people's votes have been disappearing. Confusion around the announcement of elections has always caused deaths. The planning of elections, the conduct of elections, the answering and the publication of results have always caused chaos. Therefore, for me, and a Kenyan thinking of an election in 2022 without doing what we call an overhaul of the electoral system, you will call me from London when I'm eating my sausage to help you in The Hague. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much there. And as we said there earlier, the cases of Kenya right now, coronavirus is 2,340, 78 people have died, 592 have recovered. Doctor, that's where we are right now.
How many cases?
2,340.
So far?
78 people have died, and the recoveries there is 592. And in Uganda, I don't know what could be the reason why the numbers there have gone up, 522 right now.
Let picking is coming.
Okay.
It's coming. But there is one thing about the Uganda issue. The Uganda issue project management is militarized. The man manages the situation as his own project, like a unit. He can fly and land anytime where they have told him there is trouble and sort you out. So the Uganda project management is militarized. And then there is a reporting system which is very good in Uganda that can pinpoint out that Miriam came yesterday and she has been in the house hiding. Then they smoke you out. That's why Uganda, up to now, has less affected victims. But when they open up, which is a trial period from yesterday, some things will change. And let's watch the space. That's all I can say, Miriam.
And as we watch the space, also the cases in Madagascar keep going up. And right now, 957 cases have been confirmed. 7 people have died and 200 have recovered. What went wrong with Madagascar? They seem to have had it under control in the initial stages there.
Everything went wrong. Everything went wrong.
Do you think the Yummy gave people false hope and so they just went ahead with their lives as normal?
Yes.
I don't know why I'm calling it the Yummy. That's what you call it. It's called the COVID organic.
Look, the Madagascar is like what they are doing in Kenya here now. You are telling the President Uhuru Kenyatta, please, open this place. He's going to open if the people want, but then prepare yourselves for the casualties. Next.
All right, next, there is trouble in South Sudan, Doctor. I know we've not talked about African news, but maybe just one story before we
take a break.
We take a break and then we come back.
For dispatches, so that we complete with you the dispatches.
Okay.
And then you go home.
All right, absolutely. So we take a break and then we come back after. Do we do it at 12 or do we just take a short break and come back? Or we do it now? Oh, the director is telling me now. All right, so we shall come back on the other side of the break. Very good.
So we take a break and bring in
yes.
What is this guy called Wesonga? Is he up? Yes.
Yes, let's look for a song. All right, we shall be back in a bit.
The general
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.